They called him a felon, a criminal, and the worst person walking the face of this planet. And yet, America chose to vote for this felon over Kamala Harris. The question isn't why did Donald Trump win the election? The real question is why did Kamala lose? Is she worse than a felon? We're going to be talking about Kamala Harris, her flaws, and the mistakes that were made in her presidential campaign. But first, we're going to be talking about what I consider to be the root of all problems, and that is the current age Democratic Party. You see, the Democratic Party was supposed to be this progressive party of America. In layman's terms, it was supposed to be the cool party of the United States. But it feels like after the Obama administration, the Democratic Party really is more lost than ever before. And a lot of people like to give the Democratic Party a lot of heat for giving Kamala Harris an easy ticket to nomination. And it's true, Kamala Harris did get into the presidential race a bit too easy with no obstacles whatsoever, really. And it was quite obvious from the beginning that she wasn't so popular either. But you can't really blame the Democratic Party for it. I mean, if it wasn't for Kamala, who else could enter the race? I mean, it seems like the party has nobody. They have nobody that they can trust or nobody they feel is popular enough to be the face of their party. I mean, what would they do? Would they bring back Hillary Clinton or would they give Bernie Sanders a chance? Know what am I talking about? Even if Bernie Sanders was 20 years younger, they would never give him a chance. Anyways, that's another topic. The Democratic Party right now has nobody. After Hillary Clinton failed to defeat Trump, they had to bring back Vice President Joe Biden because they had nobody. And now that they couldn't rely on Joe Biden, they had to go with the VP because once again, they have nobody. In contrast, if you talk about the Republican Party, without thinking, you can count so many names just on your fingertips. You see, Rob DeSantis, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., even Marco Rubio. There are so many people on the Republican Party that they can rely on. The Democratic Party, it doesn't seem like they've got none. And that is a very big problem. But, you know, they've got 4 years. Maybe they can find a few people in these 4 years, and then it'll be a problem that would be fixed. But another big problem with the Democratic Party is that in this day and age, they might be a bit too cool. You know, when the Obama administration passed the Marriage Equality Act, which allowed for gay and lesbian couples to get married, that was cool. And that was something that the society could accept and move on with. But right now, the Democratic Party's coolness might be a bit too much for America and even the world. And this form of coolness is nowadays called wokeness. And to avoid any confusion, I would just like to clarify that I personally have got nothing against the LGBTQ community. I actually have quite a few friends who are lesbians and who are gays, and I'm totally cool with that. I've got no problem with it. But people, they do have a problem with things like men participating in women's sports and people of a specific gender maybe using washrooms and restrooms that were not originally intended for them. These are some of the things that people have problems with, and many of them are very, very uncomfortable with. This might be a problem that the Democratic Party actually started, and now that they've got 4 years to rethink their strategy and 4 years to do a lot of fixing within themselves, maybe they should also sit back and think about where they went wrong and if they can find a common ground here, because in the name of progression, you just simply cannot make a large portion of your population uncomfortable. You just simply cannot do that. And this might be the reason behind the downfall of the Democratic Party. They've got to think about it. And while the Democratic Party might be a bit too progressive, they did still come across as a little conservative when it came to Kamala's campaign. You see, the mediums that the Democratic Party used this time to propagate her message and to reach her audience, her supporters, it seemed like it was all a bit too old school. Like, how many people these days actually watch cable TV? So the use of legacy media, and mostly legacy media, to reach your audience wasn't the right thing to do. In contrast, the president-elect was everywhere. Obviously, he was on legacy media, television, on social media, but he was also featured regularly on some of the most popular podcasts in the world, from Joe Rogan to The Undertaker to Logan Paul, and beyond that as well. Donald Trump was also on Twitch. That's right, something that no other political party has ever thought about. Live streaming. In this day and age, live streaming is more popular than ever before. That's why Donald Trump joined the most popular Twitch streamer to propagate his message to his young followers. It was an incredibly smart strategy on Donald Trump's part, which really made the Republican Party seem like the more progressive party out of the two.
Because a vote for him is a vote against us.
And this was another classic Democrat mistake that they often tend to make, but it was not going to work around this time, because a vote for Donald Trump was also going to be a vote for the women. After all, Donald Trump is the only candidate here who has promised free IVF treatment for all American citizens. And IVF treatments are expensive, and for those who need it, they really need it. And for Trump to make it accessible and free for American citizens, why would they not vote Trump? And if you talk about abortion, Kamala Harris confused not just the pro-life, but also the pro-choice. When Trump said that Kamala was going to allow abortion in the 9th and after the 9th month, Kamala Harris could neither accept or deny those allegations.
You should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security.
So no matter how pro-choice you might be, nobody wants abortion in or after the 9th month. And this is where Kamala, she failed to establish her position. A big part of Donald Trump's campaign was women's safety. He spoke about controlling and stopping illegal and undocumented immigration from the perspective of women's safety, which is a very important topic, not just to the women, but also the men of America. Kamala, on the other hand, she had little to say on this topic. After all, it was under her and Biden's administration that so many undocumented immigrants entered this country. And now, let's talk about the supporters. Donald Trump, through his supporters, made it very clear that this wasn't about red versus blue, about Republicans versus Democrats. This was about fixing America. And that's why he had support from all across the board, no matter it were billionaires such as Elon Musk, or it were Democrats such as Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., big names out there. They all came in to support Donald Trump, not essentially because they want to join the Republican Party, but because they want to fix America. And not just that, but through his supporters, Donald Trump also gave us a very excellent picture of what his cabinet was going to look like. With people such as Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard backing him, people had no doubt that his cabinet was going to be just brilliant. On the other hand, Kamala Harris thought that she could fool the American people, especially the youngsters of America, into voting for her because she's got people such as Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Eminem, will.i.am, Ricky Martin backing her up. And to be honest, even the choice of celebrities told you how out of touch the Democratic Party and Kamala really are. I mean, which youngster out there actually listens to people like Ricky Martin these days? I doubt there are many. So once again, poor choice of celebrities, a poor campaign strategy. In 2024, people are not going to vote for you because of which celebrity endorses you. That celebrity isn't going to be advising you how to run this country. That celebrity is just smoke and mirrors, who is just there to maybe sing a song or two at your rallies, and then they'll be gone. So it's all smoke and mirrors, and Americans are smarter than that. And if they do want entertainment, Donald Trump actually happens to be a very good dancer, and he did dance during all of his rallies, so why not just vote Trump?
So welcome to hello, Madam Vice President. Hello, welcome to Michigan.
It's so good to be
I don't
back.
even want to talk about the interview situation here because at first, Kamala, she did not want to do interviews. She did not want to face questions. And when she started doing interviews, they just seemed very painfully choreographed or very protective of her. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was out there doing rallies, doing 3-hour interviews, facing the people, doing town halls, while Kamala Harris did none of them. Big difference. Big difference.
Thank you.
As you can tell, Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, they made quite a few mistakes during this campaign. But interestingly enough, it was after the campaign ended, after the results came out, that we got to see the true character of Kamala Harris. Instead of coming out and sending out few words of comfort to her supporters who were in absolute shock and sorrow over the results, Kamala Harris chose to not face the world. Kamala Harris chose to sit back and let her supporters go back home all by themselves. This shows the true character of Kamala Harris, not of a warrior, not of a fierce leader, but maybe a weak leader. On the other hand, President-elect Donald Trump, after that first assassination attempt, he stood right up with his face covered in his own blood. He held his fist up high and he said, "Fight, fight, fight." And that is a true nature, and that is a true character of a true leader. And that is the kind of leader that America needs, and that is the kind of leader that America has finally chosen as their president-elect. So America, you should be proud of your choice, because Donald Trump is going to take America exactly where you want, and that is to the top. Donald Trump is your president-elect, and Donald Trump will once again fix America, and he will once again make America great again. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back with more political analysis, sharing my perspective, my viewpoints, and also listening to you. So make sure to send your comments. I will be reading and writing to each of them. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.